Well, let's hand it over to Ashanti. And thank you for the unexpected question there. It was the I was going to introduce you more formally, but I thought that actually worked really well. So,
yeah,
well, go time.
Well, I think this answers the. Oh, thank you. Does everyone have a pen? Everyone has a pen? Or something to write with? I have a few right here. I'm a teacher always, so I always got pens somewhere. But if you could just give them back,
We can share.
But yeah, there's some pens going on, and there's some in the front table over there. So I have a few over there. There's a couple of markers on the back bench back there. So do you want me to sit? You want me to sit, or you want me to stand? Is good. Okay, I'll stand because I have a little bit more energy to stand. So, let me take one and pass it. So what's coming around to you right now is a tool. There's a tool coming around. This is, I didn't give you all pens here. This is a part of a campaign that we started. So our program, I run this mentoring program called Ever Forward. Ever Forward was featured in a documentary called The Mask You Live In. And The Mask You Live In is about American masculinity and how America's hyper masculine narrative of what it means to be a man is really destroying our voice. And so that documentary came out in 2015 at Sundance Film Festival. And it really just began to move our work into another level of the work. And so this tool came out of an activity we did in the documentary. So I was mentoring a group of young men at Fremont High School, which is my alma mater. And every time we would come together to meet, they would say, on a scale from 1 to 10, everybody's a 10. Every meeting, 10, 10, 10, 9, 1, 9 maybe, and everybody's a 10. Now, a 10 means that you're the best. Like today is the best day, 1 is the worst. So everyone's coming in every day as a 10. Now, as the dean that year, I knew there was way more going on, but in front of each other in the circle, in the space of the circle, the young men weren't at the place where they could tell most of their truth. So everyone came to the meeting. How everybody doing? 10, 10, 10, 10. And then I'm like, okay, so what do we do now? Because everybody's great. But but as a dean, when I knew that most of them, like, man, you got 5 referrals today. How are you a 10? But my job is to hold space. My job is not to reveal their stuff to the circle. So I just let them tell whatever they're going to tell. And then we try and just dig through the 10s and see how we can learn something that week, And so when they told me they was going to come film, I said, well, great, but the group of young men I'm working with, they're not really getting real yet. They're not at the place where they're ready to get real. They lie every meeting. They lie. And then they were like, the producers were like, well, at least we get to see them resisting the opportunity to connect when they have the opportunity. I'm like, well, I'm glad you want to see the resistance because I got some good resistance, And so in my mind, I was like, in my phone, I said, okay, great, because I still wanted them to come. But in my gut, I was like, you can't just come and have these young men lying to each other while they're filming, right? And so I was like, well, how can I come up with an experiment or experience where they can talk about it without talking about it? Like, how about I try something new? And so this is what came out of that. And so what this is about the masks. And so what I'm going to ask you to do is to just do your best. Just do your best. And I don't know how much time we have, but I'm going to do my best to just kind of take you through the experience.
Till 9, so
Okay.
28 minutes.
Okay, great. So everyone take a deep breath. So I'm going to ask you to take several deep breaths between now and the next, few minutes. And so what I would like you to do is, if you look at the card on the left side, it says front of mask and then back of mask. So on the left side, it says front of mask. So what I would like you to do, and in this part of the experience, is I would like you to think of what the purpose of a mask is. And can somebody tell me in here just what is the purpose of a mask? What are masks for? What are they used for? What are masks for? Disguise? Protection? Hiding? Play a character? Decoration? Safety? Battle? Yeah. To accentuate. Project an image. Beautiful. I got called to an elementary school to work with a boy, 8 years old, who was having a meltdown season. And I asked him, I said, hey, what's the purpose of a mask? And he said, to scare people. I say, anything else? He's like, nope. Okay, great. So for all the reasons you gave for mask and for that 8-year-old who just wants to scare people away, what I would like you to do on the left side, and just keeping your eyes on your own card, on the left side, draw a mask. Whatever you draw is perfect. Whatever size you draw is perfect. On the left side, draw a mask. So if you're still drawing, keep drawing. I'm going to just move this toward the second step. I want you to think of the mask that you drew or that you're drawing as a representation of you. Okay? Like a signal from your mind went down to your arm and to your hand, and then you drew it. So think of it as a representation of you. So on the same side where the mask is, the same side, the left side, I want you to think of 3 words or 3 phrases that are qualities or characteristics of yourself that you gladly let the world see. Think of 3 qualities or characteristics of yourself that you gladly let the world see on the left side. And you can write them anywhere on the left side you want. 3 words or 3 phrases of yourself that are qualities or characteristics that you gladly let the world see. And those of you that are watching from online, you can take a piece of paper. All this is a card with just 2 sides, the left side and the right side. You can just take a piece of paper and fold it in half, and the left side will be the front of the mask, and on the right side it will be the back of the mask. But we're just on the left side right now, okay? Okay, so you have 3 words or 3 phrases that are qualities of yourself, characteristics of yourself that you gladly let the world see. Okay. I just want you to take a deep breath. As we just think about moving to the next side, the back of the mask. Now, the back of the mask is something different. The back of the mask are things that we normally don't let people see. We normally don't talk about. But I want to give you a range of things. So think about the back of the mask, things I don't normally talk about. Think of one side being, well, I don't talk about these things because no one ever asked me about them. It just never comes up. That's one side. Like, it just never comes up. Maybe I'll talk about it, but it never comes up. No one ever asked me. It never comes up. Then you think of the other side. That's just like, I don't talk about it. Period. People bring it up. I change the subject. I delete the email. I don't respond to the text. I don't talk about it. From one end, it just never comes up. Maybe I'll be willing to talk about it, but it doesn't come up. To the other side where you've chosen not to talk about it. I want you to think of 3 that you feel comfortable writing right now. 3 things, qualities, characteristics of yourself that you normally don't talk about. I want you to write those on the right side where it says back of mask. Or just for anywhere along that spectrum, from the things that you just never come up, or you can choose where you feel comfortable, but toward the other side where you say, well, don't talk about this ever. So you may not want to be there, right? But wherever along that spectrum you feel comfortable writing. Yeah, thank you for asking. Then along the bottom of the card, it asks you for a few pieces of information. If you're willing to share any of those, that'd be great. And then once you've done that, just put the card face down on your lap. And so if you are at home watching and you're doing this by yourself, you won't be able to get the experience, full experience we're going to get here. So I do want you to go to a website. It's www.100kmasks. That stands for 100K masks, or stands for 100,000 masks, but 100kmasks.com. And there you're going to be able to see some masks that are already there populated. So, but for those in the room, they'll have a different experience. But just so you can see other masks from around the world, please, you can go to 100kmasks.com and see those. So everyone here, can we take another deep breath? Okay. So I'm trying to make sense of the room and how much space we have, because I think this next part has a lot of opportunity, and there's not a lot of chords, which is actually pretty good. So let me, I'm gonna have people move around in a second. Okay, so you stay there. I'm gonna have people move around, or you can move, and I'm gonna have people move around a little bit. But I think that may be hard because that thing is there. No, we're not gonna have people move around. Can I have like 3 volunteers? Can I have 3 volunteers? 1. Okay, just come on up. Just come on up. Just come. You want to be a volunteer? Just come on up. Just stand up where you are. And what I need you to do, the volunteers, I need you to collect the cards that are around where you are. So just collect the cards, all of them. If anybody else wants to volunteer, I can take 4. I can take 5 volunteers. I can take 6 volunteers. If you feel like you called a volunteer, come on, stand up and you can volunteer also. Just stand up and do it. Just do it. Okay, so volunteers, you're gonna be on the spot for a minute. Come on up, come on up, come on up. Okay, welcome, thank you. So this is the first time we've done it this way, so you're gonna get to experience something new in this newness of this experience, okay? So what I'm gonna have you do is I'm gonna have you all let me say your name so we can have the volunteers, at least so we know who they are. Your name?
Odelia.
Mikey.
Bernice.
Hey! Oh my goodness, I'm having a flash. Okay. Hello. Hi. Okay. So,
I know.
Okay.
Grandmother, sister.
So what they're gonna do is right now, I need you all working together. I need you to mix them all up. Mix them up. Like mix them up with each other. Mix them up. So they're about to mix all these up. They're mixing these up. They mix them up.
Like,
Okay, so I know what I'm looking for. Actually, I keep patting my pockets like I'm looking for something. I think I'm looking for this. So okay, all right. So now here's what they're gonna do. I need you to go back and pass out the cards. Give everybody a card, and when you get a card, keep the card face down. Ready? Go. Don't forget the people in the front up here in the panel. But keep the card face down. Keep it face down. Keep it face down. Face down. So if you didn't make one, don't take one, just so we make sure we have enough for everyone who made one. Keep it face down. And if you think you got your own, don't say anything because no one's gonna know. So I probably should have said that already. Did somebody already find that they had their own on accident? Okay, so I forgot. I should have said this. I meant to say it. Okay, you already moved it around. Okay, great. I was gonna do some switcheroo. Okay, great. Because if you got yours back, you were supposed to get yours back. Just trust that. If you got yours back, it was supposed to come back to you because we did our best to mix them up here. They did. All 3 of them. So you have a different one, right? Okay, great. So take a deep breath. Now just feel where you're at right now. Like, are you in your head right now? Are you in your heart right now? Are you in your gut right now? Are you in your shoulders right now? Like, where? Just think about where you are right now. Physically, just feel it. Like whatever's calling you right now, whatever energy is pushing through you right now, it's supposed to be there for right now. Because in this moment, you could totally be believing you're the only one. But just feel it. Take a deep breath. And I want you to look at the card in your hand. Just keep it to yourself. Whichever card you got, what you were supposed to get. If you can't read the writing, you weren't supposed to be able to read the writing. If it's blank, it's supposed to be blank. Whatever it is, it's exactly what it's supposed to be. And just let that be. Now, the way that this next part works is we're just going to need some volunteers. And I'm going to have you can stay seated. You don't have to stand. I don't know if we have time to go through everybody, but let's go 10 people. Can I have 10 people? And we'll just, I don't know how to do that without having you raise your hand or something, but let's actually just go ahead and, I'm going to have you stand so I know who is going to be the 10. Just, if you're feeling called to stand, stand. If you're feeling called to stand, stand. I won't call on you. Just if you're feeling called to stand, stand. I need like 10 volunteers. Okay. Great. So we'll have, how many we have? Anybody else being called? Okay, that's fine. We'll take it what we got. Those that are standing right now, you're going to read one word from the front of the card in your hand. One word from the front of the card. Okay? Just one word. So let's start. We'll start on this side. We'll pick one word from the front of the card. And just say it loud enough so that everyone can. Do you need to pass the mic every time, or is it just okay to have them?
Wouldn't be bad.
What is it? Just shout it out. No, I'll hold this out here like this, okay?
Independent.
Thank you.
Knowing.
Thank you.
Contained.
Thank you.
Strong.
Thank you.
Happy.
Thank you.
Kind.
Thank you.
Present.
Thank you.
Safe.
Thank you.
Intelligent.
Thank you. Did I miss anyone? Okay. Take a deep breath. Thank you, volunteers. You can have a seat. Can I have 10 more volunteers? Stand up. If you're called to stand, stand. If not, no problem. Okay. And thank you for the first volunteers for standing. Thank you very much. Okay. So now we're going to read one word from the back. I'm going to start on this side this time.
Loneliness. Sexually turned off. Loneliness.
Hurting and needing support.
Needy.
Thank you.
Pretending.
Thank you.
Jealous.
Thank you.
Dumb.
Thank you. Desire. Thank you.
Scared.
Thank you. Everyone take a deep breath. Thank you, volunteers. You can have a seat. So volunteers, thank you for volunteering. I'll ask the rest of you and anyone who wants to speak right now. So what's coming up for you right now? Like, how are you, what's coming up in your mind, your head, your body, your heart? Like, what are you feeling right now? What did you hear? What did you notice to just kind of happen in the room right now? Yeah, I'm gonna pass the mic this time.
That's hard. It's like really hard when you take it somewhere you've never taken it before. Like, I think there are things that, you know, I consider to be the things that I've done wrong, or the mistakes that I've made, or the things that have happened to me, and I've found a way to talk about them, right? And found a way to make that experience okay and a part of my story. But I think here tonight, when you said like the things that you don't talk about to anybody, you know, that kind of forced me to like think about things that like maybe I haven't before, you know, things that I've held on to and maybe felt like ashamed about, or felt like they're like a deep part of like why I'm not like other people. Yeah. So all I gotta say is like, that's like really hard.
I think I just realized after the exercise was over, even under anonymity, I don't think I really put in. I don't even know myself what I wouldn't want to put down.
How are you feeling? What's coming up for you?
One thing that really hit me coming to the event tonight is just the presence of the people here and the caliber and so much heart and soul, and you can just feel the energy. And so then to hear the reverse side of the mask and be like, wait, someone else in here is lonely? Wait, 2 people in here are lonely? Wait, 3 of you are lonely? It's not just me? And it's like a duh, right? And yet how often do I not have that duh, right? And tonight it's just being with this kind of caliber of people and realizing the connection and that we're all yearning for the same things, even here, all of us with probably immense amounts of a privilege, right? It's just really heartening. And I want numbers tonight. I'm also lonely.
I'm appreciative of the trust that's been built here tonight and just blown away by it, just so surprised. And it started with you folks sharing your stories so generously and lavishly. And then you could feel the trust build among us as we listened to you. So thank you all for that, such a space created.
To know that there is my card out there feels very bad. Especially, I did this exercise with you, it was maybe a year and a half ago. And I don't know, I feel like this time I really put something that I really hide from people. And so now I'm like, I know that you can identify me because I put San Carlos. Now you know. But yeah, I mean, it's just actually to stay with that feeling. The feeling, it is painful, it is scary. And yeah, I was very inspired by like, just next to the wound is a medicine. And I'm like, okay, so maybe that's what's happening right now. So I'm the one from San Carlos.
In certain contexts, I do allow myself to be my more entire self, but I also, in this moment, realizing how often I do contain so much of who I am. If I don't know if it's safe, or if I don't know who I'm dealing with, or if I don't know if they'll accept being my more, less contained, less pretty parts. So I'm just realizing how much I do hide actually still in most contexts. Yeah.
When I'm looking at this particular card, I think about like how often I see people who who show all of the things that are on the front side, and like just how cripplingly sad the things on the back are. Like, I can't believe that someone in this room would write those things down. 'Cause like, everyone has something to give to the world. Like, one of the statements is, I am nothing. And it's just like a very difficult thing to process, that like there's just people out there just feeling like that, just like today. This is like a good evening. And to feel that today it's just very leveling, I guess I would say.
And so with that, I want to say this part for me and for the work that we do all over the world. So far in this campaign, we've collected over 30,000 masks from 12 different countries around the world. And what we know, a lot of our work started in middle schools and high schools. We know that young people, how they treat each other. We know how teachers sometimes take students' behavior for who they are. We know sometimes parents forget what it was like to be 12. And what we try and help people recognize is that there's way more to you than anybody would ever know by looking at you. There's way more to other people than anybody would ever know just by looking at them. One of my mentors said, comparison is a thief of all happiness. And in our world where we use our social media sometimes for validation, we use the likes and clicks for our value and the evaluation of others, we got to be careful that we don't get sucked in. The people who created these products, they're billionaires for a reason. I found myself, and I do this work all the time, all over the world. I found myself the other day on Instagram. I only post about Ever Forward, so it's all about my work. And somebody told me what that little red thing pops up at the bottom meant. I didn't even know what it meant at first. So when I didn't know what it meant, it was all good. Because I'm like, what's that thing keep popping up at the bottom? No problem. Well, it tells you how many people liked your stuff since the last time you opened the app. So I was one day somewhere, and I was like opening it up and just checking things out. And the thing didn't pop up. And I was like, oh, you mean nobody liked my stuff since I've been here last time? And I felt the energy in my gut, like I know I posted an incredible photo of this work I'm doing. And I said, oh, they got me. They got me. And I said, I put the phone down, and I was like, oh, man. Because I'm an older dude. What if you're 12, and that's how you thought that your validation means? What if you're 13 and no one likes your photo? When I was younger, if it was a party on Friday, I didn't get invited, I found out Monday morning. Because everybody was talking about it Monday morning. Now it's Friday, and people at the party are posting pictures, and you get to think about all weekend how invalid, why did I get invited? My friends, wait a minute, I thought I was friends with them. And so now it's a different world that our young people deal with. It's a young world that we deal with, depending on how much I love my phone, I love my smartphone. And I have to be careful that I don't get sucked into it, into what the stories tell me. When I'm talking to my barista at the cafe, like, it's a little too early. You're a little bit too happy. Like, can you calm down a little bit? Just give me a cold brew, please, 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 please. I don't know what that person's dealing with. But what if I'm just treating this person like that? Your job is just to give me a thing that I need to get so I can get my day going. Who knows what they're going through behind what they have to do to make the customers right. Customers first. That's what I want you to know from today. Hopefully what you take with you. I'm not telling anybody that masks are bad. That's not our work in this 100,000 mask campaign. We're not telling people that masks are bad. We're saying, do you have a place that you can take it off? Do you have a place where you can go and be with somebody who will just let you talk about whatever thing you want to talk about? Be who you are. And I think that when we can do that for each other, we can do that for ourselves, I think we can build a community that begins to care about each other a little bit more, begins to love each other a little bit more, and begins to hear each other past our differences. Because there's way more to you or to me than you ever would know just by looking at me. I want to thank you all for participating. Tonight was a new day, a new night. I don't even, I'm telling you right now, like, my life has changed today. And I'm thankful that all of you were here to be in this space. I'm thanking for everyone on the panel for your stories. I'm speechless still in so many words. Like, I'm gonna go home tonight being like, what did I just do? What happened? And I know that it's about time for the next journey of my life. And so thank you for being here to be a witness for it. And Gareth, thank you for inviting me to be a part. And I'm gonna turn the mic back over to you as we close out. If you could do me a favor, if I can get a couple of volunteers just to grab all the cards and bring them up, that would be great. And then I'm gonna pass the mic back to Gareth. And thank you all. The 100,000 Mask Challenge is, I have blank cards, so we give this campaign away So if you think you want to do this with your team, with your friends, with your family, you can just grab a card. You can order cards on our website. I think I may have some you can take with you, but you can always reach out to us. And there's an image here, which is the image of the campaign that you can also take with you. This was an art piece done by one of my former students. He's an artist. He's an art teacher now. I'm really proud of him. And when you read the image, I think it will make sense to why it's the image of the campaign. So I'll leave these on the front table. You can take one with you, take multiple if you want.
Are there other ways to support what you do? Other than in the car, like, is there, do you guys have a Patreon, or how do you guys fund what you do?
Yeah, we've been self-funding the campaign so far. We are trying to figure, having people sponsor a classroom. We're trying to figure those models out. That's the part where we're doing the work, and now we're trying to figure out how do we do the part to fund the work. And so what we're doing right now is we have a website. Our website always is available. We would love people, if you know companies who support nonprofits, if you work for a foundation, people working at a foundation, we would love to have you to connect us with them. This is the work that I was called to do, and I think I'm really excited about this next phase of our work. The documentary began to open the door, and this campaign is really opening new doors for us. So, if you have an idea of who should see this card, a teacher, a community, a principal, like we're trying to get these schools are really our highest community in doing them, but we know that there's some corporate spaces that just need space and opportunity and help building community. And we feel that this tool can do that. They can either bring us in, or they can do them on their own. We offer the cards for them to do it on their own, or they can hire us to come in and facilitate workshops as well. Yeah, thanks for asking. I appreciate that. I didn't even plan that. I didn't tell you to ask that, but I needed that because I wouldn't have said it.
I have a question though.
Oh yeah.
I saw the mask you live in at a film festival. It was really powerful.
Right on.
I tried to get a copy of it, but bring it to schools, and I knew a lot of people wanted to see it, but I couldn't get it.
It's right now. You can get it on like iTunes or one of those streaming sites like Google Play, some of those other sites. But if you want to get it if you want to get the curriculum with it, that the representation. So the documentary was done by the Representation Project. Jennifer Siebel Newsom, her first film was Misrepresentation. So you can go to their website to get the documentary, or you can stream it from one of the sites that are like one of the streaming sites. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe when I saw it, it wasn't.
Yeah, when it first came out, it hadn't got, I don't know the filmmaking world, but it takes a while to get distribution and all that stuff, but it's there now. Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you got to see it. Thank you. Oh, it's called The Mask You Live In. The Mask You Live In. And our program is Ever Forward and Siempre Adelante. All right. Thank you, Gary.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right.
Cool. Well, we're closing up, and so I just wanted to see if anybody had anything else they wanted to throw into the space before we close out. Mikey?
I would love to hear from you, Garrett. How are you and how was it?
Thanks, Mikey. I'm feeling like happiness and kind of giddy that you asked that. Just like your cheekiness is and grateful. And just very, I feel like everybody showed up. Like the bodies are here, the vulnerability's here, and everybody really contributed, and I just feel really grateful. I think if I had one desire, it was that everybody felt engaged and moved and safe, and I'm experiencing qualities of that this whole evening, and I'm just really grateful. And I know that it's an experiment. So part of it was going into the unknown, and I feel really grateful that everybody was kind of willing to be in that space together. And yeah. Thank you so much for asking. Yes?
So why did you put this together?
I think part of me was hoping that would emerge. And oh, it's here. Thank you. And so I'm still kind of finding that out. And then the part of me that felt called towards it is feeling a desire to share people who have faced the work inside, who have chosen to look inward and chosen to stop blaming the world. And I'm inspired by that. And I'm inspired by these people, particularly, very much. and felt that their stories and the way that they offer them and share them, and the similarities in the stories, but also like the fascinating distinctions in them as well, I think was hoping to also portray the balance of sameness and unity in humanity, but also the distinction in our interdependence. And so, yeah, and part of me also feels really called to shine lights on what I feel inspired by and not necessarily need to fix anything. Well, this is an experiment, so we'll see. And I will say that we have captured all of this on film, and so we also have footage of more in-depth interviews of all the panelists. And so we're going to put together storylines, narratives, and create post-production content that captures this in a different way. So that will be the first step. And then as far as additional events, I have absolutely no idea. Thank you. But I'd love to hear your feedback and what you thought worked and didn't.
Not now.
Yeah.
Would you?
Thank you. Cool. Okay, well, there's probably still food if you guys want to eat. Exchange numbers with Nathaniel and each other. And yeah, what? Oh yes, and Nicole's books are on the table too. So yeah, and I will go on a limb here and say that it's a tool, right, to explore grief. And so her creative expression through that process of experiencing loss and joy through that, maybe you'll find that in reading her book, experiencing the book, the art.
So are you going to post this somewhere, or is this going to be shareable, or what's the... Not figured out yet?
Yes, so right now it's being aggregated under Let's See Labs. Thanks, Chris Smith, for the name. I love it.
See Labs.
Yeah. Let's see what happens, you know, and also see clearly and each other. And so, yeah, Chris Smith tribute. And so yes, right now all the content is being aggregated there. So the live stream was through that channel, and then YouTube will be posted and shared through that Facebook channel too, or on my Facebook page. And letsseelabs.com exists. Thanks, Jetson. Yes, Tawny?
I just want to say thank you. All of you.
Oh.
Garrett.